Hi everyone, welcome to Investing Club. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I'm going to be buying some more Bitcoin to add to my portfolio. Now let me start this video off right away by saying this is not financial advice, and I'm just talking about what I'm doing for my portfolio. And I am no expert on Bitcoin. I've never really known much about Bitcoin until a couple of people reached out to me and asked me my thoughts on Bitcoin. And I've never really looked into it that much until now, so I decided I'd read up on it. And I've looked at it a little bit, and I have to say the more I find out about it, the more attractive it seems to me. So in this video, I'm going to go over 3 points about why I think Bitcoin belongs in my portfolio. When I say in my portfolio, I'm not saying put 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. I'm probably going to put like 2% of my portfolio in Bitcoin or something like that, a very small amount, and I'll get to my reasoning for that later in this video. All right, so here are the 3 reasons I like Bitcoin from what I've seen so far. First, it is the strongest currency on earth, and this is probably one of the most attractive features of Bitcoin that I like. With everything that's been happening in the economy, I think it is super important to have a strong currency that you can put your wealth into that will hold its value. With everything we've seen going on, what's been happening? People have been losing their jobs, people haven't been spending as much, and what is the consequence of that? Well, that is a deflationary event. And some people are even calling what we're going through a depression. During deflationary events and depressions, what's going to happen? The Federal Reserve will come in and start printing a ton of money and expanding their balance sheet. And that is exactly what we've seen happen. This is a quick image that shows the history of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. It has just shot straight up in the past couple of months, and it is now over $6 trillion. And so to me, this is all manipulation. Every paper currency in the world does something like this. You have the president of the European Central Bank basically saying, we'll do whatever it takes, we will print as much money as we need, and we will buy as many bonds as we need. And that's the job of central bank. They are in charge of their currency. And so for that reason, Bitcoin has some very attractive qualities that normal currencies do not hold. And for one being that there is a set amount of Bitcoin that will be created. And after that, it will be impossible to create any more Bitcoin. So just that security of knowing there's a set amount of a currency is really important. Right, it's only created at a certain rate. Many years from now, when the last Bitcoin is created, there will be a certain amount of it that is set. And so it's not like a normal currency where a central bank can just say, I'm going to start printing trillions of more dollars. And then we see all these central banks printing and printing and printing money. And this is a chart that really shows most currencies are just seeing an increase the currency in circulation. And so what's that going to do? That's going to debase the currency. The US dollar has lost something like 94% of its value in the last 50 years, something in that range. So this is something that's not going to happen with Bitcoin. And it's even different from gold in that sense. In a lot of ways, I compare Bitcoin and gold. And even that doesn't apply to gold because there's such a massive amount of gold in the earth right now. We can very easily create a very massive amount of new gold. And there's even gold in things like seawater. So if we ever found out a way to extract gold from something like seawater, then there would be a huge increase in supply of gold. And that is something that even gold, which is considered one of the most stable, if you want to call it a currency, Bitcoin is even more stable than that because there is a set amount and nothing can be done to change that. The second thing I like about Bitcoin, it is a hedge and it has huge upside potential. And it is usually not correlated with the stock market. So that's good. Even though I've said in past videos, I don't really like diversification. When I'm talking about my stock investments for that purpose. So all my money that's in stocks, I wouldn't own like an index fund that has 500 different stocks. But outside of stocks, yeah, I definitely think that diversification is important, and Bitcoin would give me another asset that is not correlated with the stock market. And in addition, there's some huge upside potential with Bitcoin. There's a lot of people saying Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000 or something crazy like that, and I have no idea if that's going to happen or not. It could happen. I think exposing myself to that upside is very attractive, and the risk to reward for Bitcoin right now, I think, is attractive if they have the potential to go up 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, that's something I want in part of my portfolio. And I think that's another thing that sets it apart from gold, where, gold's not going to go up by 100 times. It might double over a long period of time, but an increase in Bitcoin would be much more explosive and has a much higher probability of going higher than something like gold. Now, lastly, it has emerging institutional support. And this is a big thing I like to look at. Whether I'm buying a stock or anything else, it's important to see if there's some institutional support for whatever you're buying. And in 2019, JP Morgan Chase started their own crypto exchange, and there have been a lot of reports suggesting that there will be a huge increase in institutional demand for Bitcoin after the crisis we're going through, where normal currencies are just being printed at will. institutions are going to start looking for a much more stable currency, and that is where Bitcoin could fit in. And so a huge demand in institutions could contribute to a run up in Bitcoin prices. So those are really the three main points. So I think I'm going to do it. I think I'll buy a couple percentage. I've said before, I'm holding around 50% cash in my portfolio, so I might as well put some of that, maybe like 2% towards some Bitcoin. I think it's smart to diversify like that. I don't own any bonds, I don't own gold, so some Bitcoin would add some more diversification to my portfolio, which is super important in a time like this where we don't know what's going to happen. There is a chance the dollar could explode just because of the strengthening of the dollar, similar to what we saw when it was taken off the gold standard. And so Bitcoin has a risk to reward that is pretty attractive to me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you own Bitcoin. I know a couple of my subscribers have reached out to me, but let me know your thoughts on it down below, if it's a good investment or if it's a gamble. And before I end the video, I want to talk to you about a new cryptocurrency I found. So a lot of people say, I wish I invested in Bitcoin when it was at $0. Think about how rich I'd be if I invested in Bitcoin when it was first starting out. And I found, and there is a new cryptocurrency called Pi, and they were created by graduates at Stanford. And the unique thing about Pi is that you can actually mine it from your phone. So they have an app, you go on the app and you just tap your screen and it will mine Pi for you. And it doesn't do anything to your phone. It won't drain the battery. It won't make your phone slower, nothing like that. And this cryptocurrency is currently worth nothing. It's worthless. But you have to realize Bitcoin was worth nothing at 1.2 and then it went up to $20,000. So will this ever become worth $20,000? What do I know? It might not. But what's really the downside? It's you take out your phone and tap the screen once a day and you'll mine Pi coin. And if it ever becomes worth something, you'll be thanking yourself down the line. And this is exactly the asymmetrical risk to return that myself as an investor likes to look for, where if this cryptocurrency actually does become worth something, the upside is huge and the downside is I spent 10 seconds a day going on the app and tapping the screen. So I started doing this. If you're interested in this, it'll be the first link down in the description. You can sign up and just start accumulating these Pi coins. And if they ever become worth something, your future self will thank you for it. Now, again, I have no idea if it's going to become worth something and go up or not. But this is the chance to get in on a new cryptocurrency when it is at $0. And so if it ever turns out to be the next big thing, you can make a lot of money from it. There's probably a good chance that won't happen. But again, what's the harm? You tap your phone once a day and that's all it is. So I'll put the website down in the description. I'll put a link and so you can read more about it. They have a whole video. So definitely check it out if you're interested in that. And I will see you all on the next video.